Hi everyone, welcome back to another TODO code video. This channel is where we discuss and learn new skills around the topics of design and development. If you want to grow your skills and learn new things that's coming up, please like, share, and please do subscribe for more. The new tool GitHub Copilot has been flooding the web recently. There are lots of posts around the social media like Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube regarding this awesome tool. In this video, we'll be exploring some of the topics like what is GitHub Copilot, how it works behind the scene, discuss on controversial topics rising like are programmers' jobs at risk, what similar products are available out there, how can we make use out of it, where we will definitely be coding with the integration of this tool inside of our VSCode. If you want to jump to a specific part of the video, please feel free to click on the timestamps added in the description down below. Alright, GitHub Copilot. This tool helps us to quickly discover alternative ways to solve specific problems, write tests, and explore new APIs without having to tediously search for answers on the internet, primarily Stack Overflow. It supports languages like Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Ruby, and Go. GitHub Copilot is powered by OpenAI and trained by billions and billions of lines of open source code. It's AI-powered auto-completion on steroids. It not only completes a single line but also completes a bunch of code blocks at once. Now let's take a look at the official documentation of GitHub Copilot from the website itself. GitHub Copilot is an AI peer programmer that helps you to write code faster with less work. GitHub Copilot draws context from the comments and code and suggests individual lines and whole function instantly. GitHub Copilot is powered by OpenAI Codex, a new AI system created by OpenAI. The GitHub Copilot technical preview is available as a VS Code extension. Alright, now I think we have pretty much understood about what is GitHub Copilot. Now let's move into the section of how it works. So to know how it works, let's focus on this particular diagram right here. So as you can see here, this particular diagram clearly explains us how it works behind the scene, but we don't see any descriptions here, but definitely we know how it works. So to understand how it works, we can take a look at this image from the GitHub Copilot official docs itself. The tool is provided, this tool is powered by OpenAI Codex, which is a new AI system created by OpenAI. The OpenAI is trained with billions and billions of lines of open source where we write our code inside of text editor, and this tool will provide us with editor context suggestions in improving the code and provide suggestions in writing not just lines but a bunch of code blocks and functions as well. So its OpenAI Codex model has been trained with open public code, and this particular AI platform helps us to write our code efficiently inside of our Visual Studio Code, providing us with editor context suggestions and improved suggestions. Now let's dive into a controversial topic of GitHub Copilot. Alright, GitHub Copilot, GitHub is trying to make an entirely new revenue stream relying on the open source code contributions developers are writing, and it is against the violation of open source license. This is quite a controversial topic that's rising, and it's true that it uses the open source code which trains the GitHub Copilot itself and provides us with suggestions and code blocks. So it's against the violation of open source license, which is a controversial topic around the industry right now, and the GitHub Copilot is suspicious that might also have trained in private repositories, which are inside of private repositories itself. So that is also another controversial topic that has been rising currently, and another one would be a couple of people have also tagged this step of Microsoft, who wants GitHub as an open source laundry in a sense of making money from open source. Ultimately, definitely it's a business, and Microsoft wants to bring business out of open source, and that's the topic which is really into hype these days. And despite of all these controversial topics around here, which always happens to the world we live in. I would encourage you guys to make right use of it and make it yourself and make yourself efficient, but don't rely on this piece of tool, as you might be a premium customer of Microsoft GitHub Copilot itself. So now let's dive into another topic right now. Are programmers' jobs at risk? And I personally would say absolutely no. And this is also a controversial topic that has been rising currently. And this tool helps us to write better code, trained on the code we have written. So we won't be writing the entire code ourselves, but it helps us to write better code rather than us browsing through the Stack Overflow and through the internet and getting the code snippets that we want. So it's not at all at risk for our developers' job, but it's helping us to write better code. So it's up to you whether to totally rely on this tool or to make the tool help you to be more efficient. So let's talk about the similar products using these concepts like AI driven code kind of thing. So there are a couple of products, and the noticeable products, some of the noticeable products are Kite, Tabnine, Amazon Code Guru, which these three tools helps us to power code auto-completion inside of text editor itself. So you can check it out. I have tried Kite and Tabnine, but definitely I have to try Amazon Code Guru, which seems to be quite promising. So now enough of the talk. Let's get into our text editor and get this GitHub Copilot in action. So for those people who haven't really gotten access of GitHub Copilot yet, definitely you should join the waitlist, which you can try signing up here. And after joining the waitlist, you should be given with the authentication of GitHub account with your authentication for GitHub Copilot that's needed inside of your VSCode extension. So after signing up and joining the waitlist, you should definitely receive the authentication that's needed. And after all has been done, you can see here in the bottom right, you can see the icon of GitHub Copilot where I can click to activate and click to deactivate. So it's basically toggling between activation and deactivation. So let's experiment with the GitHub Copilot and how we can use it inside of our project. So for now, I will just make a directory and call it GitHub Copilot demo inside of our desktop right here. And let's move in inside of GitHub Copilot demo. And inside here, I want to create a new folder. So I will just, or a new file. So I will open this up inside of VSCode. So let's create a new file right here. And we will start off with just a pure vanilla JavaScript for now. And let's write main.js right here. And inside of our main.js, let's start with something basic. For now, let's start with, as we have discussed before, it also like reads through the comments that we have added. And I will just check whether disabling or let's enable it. So I think it's disabled, and let's enable. Okay, after enabling the GitHub Copilot, I hope in default it's enabled. So let's first write our function for concatenating two strings. So I'll just write concat strings right here and hit on enter. And as you can see here, we have this particular command, and you can just add write fun. And as you can see here, I have also tabnine added, but for now I'll just ignore the tabnine kind of concat strings. So this particular thing right here is provided by GitHub Copilot, and I can switch between next and previous. So I can just go next and next and next and next. I think it's pretty much just two options available right here. So I'll just stick with the shorter version of it. So just this one. So yeah, this is how basically GitHub Copilot works inside of VS Code. So let's go ahead and create another function just a basic function to check the greatest number from an array. So I'll just write a comment which is check the greatest number from an array, and hit enter. And as you can see here, it has already given me some suggestions about the function that will help us. So I'll just hit tab to accept this one, and I will close this bracket. The bad thing about Copilot right now is it doesn't work well with brackets, so you have to figure it out yourself. And as you can see here, the code has been already written to me, which is perfect. So I'll just go ahead and go to previous, and this is a really long function. So previous, and previous, or just press tab to accept it, or you can just open the Copilot itself inside of VSCode. And as you can see here, we have a lot of functions that's already been prepared, which generally does the same, which generally checks the greatest number from an array. So you can see here we have this action button kind of thing where we accept a solution. For now, I'll just accept a solution, which would be I'll just stick with this for now. So we will remove that curly braces, and here we have it. Our function is already made, so we can just go ahead and invoke that particular function with a parameter that needs to be passed in, which is array. And I'll just write a function or just a random numbers inside an array. So and I'll just add a comma. So I'm basically used to adding commas, but you can skip commas writing JavaScript. So yeah, so after this is perfect, and this is pretty much what we wanted. Now let's add another function, which generally a common function, for example, fetching an API call. So fetch API call or calls. That was a recommendation from tabnine, so that's fine. You can obviously use tabnine or kite inside of your VS Code, but I have used tabnine and Copilot actively in recent days, so you can experiment with whatever works best. So as you can see here as well, we have this particular function that has been created to us, but we definitely don't need this callback for now. So I will just ignore that callback, and inside this function right here, it doesn't really give me any suggestions there, but we have some suggestions here from tabnine. So I'll just accept that suggestion from tabnine, and it generally gives me a promise. So we won't be really working with promises, but rather we will make the use of async await. So I'll just write async, and here we should see some, again it throws out a new promise, but we will wait for let's see, it doesn't give me anything. All right, so async wait, which is pretty much this one, what I wanted. There goes our URL in the fetch, and here we have another line here, which is pretty much sweet, and I'll just accept it with tab, and ultimately return our JSON right here. Yeah, this is pretty much a basic structure of how we can deal with API calls inside of JavaScript with the help of Github Copilot. And by the way, we also have some recommendation from tabnine as well, which is pretty much fine for now. So let's add another function, which just paginate results. So paginate results, and we will have a function which names, I think this is pretty much fine, so I'll just accept whatever it has given me. And array page and page size is the parameter that's passed into this function. So I'll just call const page, and I'll just use math.floor, which is, and take the array. Yeah, this is what I wanted. And in the new line, I will just add a constant which says start, and which is pretty much fine for now. I'll just accept what it has given me, and const would be end and start plus page per page. That's also pretty much fine. So and another function would return array.slice start and end. That's pretty much solid. So yeah, this is what generally what I wanted to achieve, which paginates an array based on per page and the page, which is pretty much really mind-blowing. I haven't really written that much of code, so let's grab or write another function to get a random number from, or just a random number. And here we have our function, which is pretty much made. So and let's accept it, and here we have our function. So yeah, our function has pretty much been written with the help of Github Copilot, which is pretty much great, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and add some to-do list. So let's write some to-do list inside of our main.js. So to write some to-do list, let's see how much Github Copilot helps us to write a simple to-do list with just JavaScript. So I'll just add few files here, which can be indexed. I've deleted everything that's written before inside of main.js, because we'll be creating and making a pure vanilla JavaScript to-do list, a simple one. And I have created two files here, index.html and main.css. So inside of our index.html, I'll grab in some markup that's needed. So it's inside of HTML. So I'll paste it inside of HTML. It basically uses Bulma CSS to style up and spice up with a little bit of styles. And it just have a form fields where we have one input and a button for submitting our form. So nothing more. And we have link up with main.js, and inside of our styles here we will add some resets and a few lines of styles needed for the application. After that's been done, let's see this in the browser, and this is what it looks like, which is great. So we'll add some functionality, grabbing the values inside of this text box, and after clicking or submitting the form, we'll append it to the DOM here. Or yeah, okay, so inside of our main.js right here, we will create some function and call it to-do list. So inside of our to-do list, we will firstly document.query selector, and we will select form fields or form tag, and we will listen to add event listener and listen to the submit, and after hitting on submit, we will invoke a callback function. So handle submit form. So this is basically it. So let's create a function for handle submit form. So that was provided by tabnine, and we will take the event, that's right. And it looks like we have this piece of code here, which is form text area. We don't need a text area. We don't have really text area, so I will just get rid of these auto-generated thing here and change this to just E, because I want to just add E there. And I will create a variable and call it input, which takes in from document.query selector input. And yeah, input dot value actually this is not what I wanted, Github Copilot, so I will just get rid of that one. And I'll just check whether this field is an empty string. If it's not an empty string, we will make the use of this function add TODO, which takes in the input value dot value. All right, so after like accessing the input value, we will reset the value to the empty string, which is that one. So yeah, while during we wrote our function here, we basically this should be E because we changed it to E and not that one. Okay, so when we wrote our function, we made the use of GitHub Copilot, and obviously we disregarded some of the code, and we made into consideration about some of the code and took the great things out of it. So which is pretty much great for now. So I will create another function which we haven't created yet, which is this particular function add TODO. So function add TODO will take in the TODO as a parameter, and inside this function I will create let UL is equal to document query selector, which is that was correct. Thanks Copilot. So let li, and this is also correct. So li.inner.html, this is also partially correct. So I will just remove that one and replace it with backticks. And inside here, I want some HTML that's needed. So I will just grab the inner HTML that's needed, which accesses this particular variable here, which is TODO. So and after that's been done, let's append it to the DOM. So yeah, let's save it. Let's take a look at the browser. What do we have here? After we type something random and hit on this particular button, then we can see here our item that's the value of that particular input field has been appended inside of the DOM, which is what I wanted. And now let's go ahead and create the functionality for done and delete. So to create that functionality, I will first create a function. So this particular function would be handle delete or check, which takes in event. So this particular function checks whether we have clicked in the check button or a delete button. So if you have noticed here, we have this named attribute here, which is check button and delete button. It just checks between if that particular thing that we clicked is check button or delete button. So e.target.name, we are checking whether that's a check button. So if it's check button, we will trigger this particular function, which is check TODO, which will take event. And if in other cases, if it's event.target.name is equal to this delete button, which is right here. So we will place it right here, and we will call it delete, not delete, but delete TODO. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. So let's go ahead and create this function for check TODO. So function check TODO. This particular function will check whether our TODO is completed or not. We will just spice up with styles with strike true if it's completed, and if it's not, just add a normal style to that one. So let item is equal to event.target.parent node. We are traversing to the parent node here, and if in case of item dot style is display text decoration line through. Yeah, that's what I wanted, so which is fine for now. Let's add item dot style dot text decoration. Text decoration is equal to else. Yeah, so I just use what GitHub Copilot provided us with, which is else item dot is text decoration line through. If it's not, then it's none. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty much fine for now. Let's go with the function delete to do. So inside delete to do, we will create a simple we'll access the e, and inside this function, let's wait for a bit, and it doesn't recommend or suggest me any code. Anyway, I will just write it down. Let item is equal to e.target.parent node. That's right, and this is also right, but I will just add not remove child, but remove method right here. So I'll save it and check to do and delete to do. This looks okay, so let's go ahead and refresh it. Let's add it, done and delete. The done and delete doesn't work because we haven't invoked that particular method. So I mean, we haven't invoked that particular function. So inside here, I will want to add document dot query selector, which is, I'll just accept it and make minor tweaks here. You will listen to the click and pass down this particular method as a callback: handle, delete, or check. This is fine. This looks fine. Also, I think, yeah, that's right. You're right, GitHub Copilot. So let's go ahead and check whether it works or not. Yeah, it adds the strike through. Let's hit on delete and it deletes. Hooray, that's superb. So lastly, I want to add a functionality for clear all. So the clear all functionality is simple, dead simple. So we will add a function for handle clear all. So this function, inside this function, we will document.query selector UL and inner HTML to be empty. This will work for now. So let's check whether this does work or not. Just add gibberish and add another gibberish. This is done. Delete this one, delete also this one. Let's add and clear all. This doesn't work. So a clear all doesn't work. So to handle clear all, we also need to add same thing here. So this will call this function after we click on the clear all. So this clear all is this particular thing that we have already added, which is the ID clear all. So this will document.query selector. This should be query selector. This should be get element by ID. Now it's fine because it was an ID. It should work now. Let's check it out. Done. Delete. These two things are working, and clear all is also working fine. Yeah. So guys, in this video we took a look upon the possibilities that a GitHub Copilot can easily provide us programmers with. I hope you can now use this feature and leverage your productivity to become a better developer and become efficient on what you do and what you code. If you guys want to learn more about design and development skills, please like, share, and subscribe with a click down below. And also please join our Discord community server added in the description as well. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one.